Have you ever wondered how New Year's celebrations started? Like, why do we watch fireworks at midnight or make resolutions we seldom keep? It's a question that takes us on a whirlwind tour through time, from the ancient civilizations to the present day. Across the world, cultures have embraced unique ways to bid farewell to the old and welcome the new. So what's the story behind all this festive fun? Well, buckle up, time travelers, because we're about to embark on a thrilling ride through history. Our journey starts in ancient Babylon, about 4,000 years ago. Now, imagine a time when the tallest buildings were ziggurats and the coolest ride in town was a chariot. This is where we find the earliest known New Year's celebrations. But it wasn't just a party for the sake of a good time. There was a deeper significance tied to the rhythms of the earth. In Babylon, the New Year was celebrated at the first new moon following the spring equinox, a time when day and night are equal. This period was known as Akitu, which lasted a whopping 11 days. Now, why did they choose this time of the year, you may ask? Well, it's all connected to agriculture. The Babylonians were smart cookies. They understood the importance of the seasons for their food supply. The spring equinox marked the beginning of the crop cycle, a time when farmers planted their seeds and hoped for a bountiful harvest. The New Year celebration was a way of honoring this cycle of growth and renewal, a time to give thanks for the bounty of the earth and to seek divine blessing for the crops in the coming year. But the Babylonians didn't just celebrate the New Year with farming and feasting. They also held a massive festival where a different king was crowned each day, and on the final day, the regular king would take his throne again, symbolizing the renewal of society and the land. It was a time of renewal, not just for the earth, but also for the community. Debts were forgiven, slaves were freed, and people were given a chance to start anew. It was a time of hope, a time of letting go of the old and embracing the new. So, the first New Year's celebrations were all about fresh starts and new beginnings, just like ours today. Fast forward to ancient Rome, where the calendar as we know it begins to take shape. Now, imagine yourself in the bustling heart of Rome, where chariots are the hottest ride in town and togas are the height of fashion. It was here in the year 46 BC that the calendar as we know it began to take shape. Julius Caesar, a man who loved a good party almost as much as he loved conquering, decided the Roman calendar needed a makeover. With the help of an astronomer, Caesar introduced the Julian calendar, named after himself, of course. This new calendar had 365 and a quarter days, just like our modern calendar, with a leap year every 4 years. But Caesar didn't stop there. He changed the start of the year from the Roman month of Martius, or March as we know it, to the month of Januarius, or January. Why January? Well, it was named after Janus, the Roman god of beginnings and transitions. Janus had two faces, one looking forward to the future and one looking back at the past, making him the perfect symbol for the new year. Now let's talk about how the Romans celebrated New Year's. They would decorate their homes with greenery, exchange gifts, and throw massive parties. Sound familiar? They would also make promises to the god Janus for the coming year. This is believed to be the origin of the New Year's resolution, a tradition many of us still follow today. And how about this for a New Year's tradition? The Romans believed that the first day of the year set the tone for the rest of it. So they made sure to spend it celebrating, feasting, and being kind to one another in the hopes that the rest of the year would be just as joyful and prosperous. So thank the Romans next time you celebrate the new year on January 1st. But not everyone celebrates New Year's Day on January 1st. Did you know that? Indeed, the beauty of our world lies in its diversity, and New Year's celebrations are no exception. They are as varied as the cultures that observe them. Let's take a trip around the globe and see how different cultures ring in the new year. First stop, China. Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival, doesn't have a fixed date. It usually falls between January 21st and February 20th, depending on the lunar calendar. It's a time of feasting, family reunions, and dragon dances. The color red is everywhere as it's believed to bring good luck. And let's not forget the fireworks. They're thought to drive away evil spirits. Next, we visit India, where the festival of Diwali marks the beginning of the Hindu New Year. Diwali, the festival of lights, usually takes place in October or November. Families light oil lamps and candles to guide the goddess Lakshmi into their homes for blessings of prosperity in the coming year. Sweets are shared, and fireworks light up the sky. It's a vibrant celebration of new beginnings. Our journey continues to Israel, where Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, is celebrated. It typically falls in September or October. Apples dipped in honey are enjoyed, symbolizing the hope for a sweet new year. The sound of the shofar, a ram's horn, is a key part of the festivities, calling people to self-reflection and repentance. As we've seen, New Year celebrations come in many shapes and forms. Some are loud and colorful, filled with fireworks and parades. Others are more introspective, with traditions that encourage reflection and renewal. But what they all have in common is the spirit of hope and the joy of new beginnings. As you can see, the spirit of new beginnings is universal, even if the date isn't. So, wherever you are in the world and however you choose to celebrate, here's to a happy and prosperous new year. Now, let's zoom back to the present day and look at some of our own traditions. In today's world, we have a myriad of ways to welcome the new year. One of the most popular traditions across the globe is the magical display of fireworks. Whether we're gazing at the sky ablaze with colors in Sydney or marveling at the pyrotechnics by the London Eye, fireworks have become a universal symbol of celebration, lighting up the night sky as we bid farewell to the old year and welcome the new. Another beloved tradition is making New Year's resolutions. This custom dates back to the ancient times, but it's still very much alive today. We promise to do better, to be better. Whether it's deciding to eat healthier, exercise more, or learn a new skill, we set goals for the year ahead, embodying the spirit of renewal that New Year's represents. And of course, who can forget the famous Times Square ball drop in New York City? Every year, as the clock ticks closer to midnight, all eyes are on the sparkling crystal ball as it descends atop Times Square. The countdown begins, the anticipation builds, and as the clock strikes 12, the crowd erupts in cheers. The ball drop has become a symbol of the passage of time, an unforgettable moment shared by millions around the world. Then there are the smaller personal traditions. Maybe it's a special meal with loved ones, a toast at midnight, or a quiet moment of reflection. These traditions may not make headlines, but they hold a special place in our hearts. Through these traditions, we celebrate the joy of beginnings, the promise of a fresh start, and the excitement of what lies ahead. It's a time to pause, to look back on the year that was, and to look forward with hope and anticipation to the year that will be. No matter how you choose to celebrate, New Year's is a time for hope, reflection, and looking forward to the future. So, there you have it, time travelers, a whirlwind tour of New Year's history. We've journeyed together from the ancient beginnings where the earliest New Year's celebrations were held in Mesopotamia over 4,000 years ago. They marked the occasion with an 11-day festival that sounds like a whole lot of fun. We then hopped over to Roman times where they decided to start the new year on January 1st, in honor of Janus, the god of beginnings and transitions. They had some pretty interesting traditions, didn't they? And who could forget our trip around the world, exploring different cultures and their unique New Year's celebrations? From the Chinese Lantern Festival to the Scottish Hogmanay, we learned that while we might all ring in the new year differently, it's a time for celebration and new beginnings no matter where we are. Finally, we zoom back to modern times to see some of the traditions we continue today. From the famous ball drop in Times Square to making resolutions for the year ahead, we've seen that the spirit of New Year's remains the same, even as the traditions evolve. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Time Travelers for more thrilling rides through history. Happy New Year, wherever and whenever you are.